Stop pretending you never did that. You are stuck in a high-stress meeting. Your boss is growling about next quarter's targets. You are sitting completely still to avoid any sudden movements.
But your crisp white shirt has other plans. Within minutes, your armpits are drenched in two giant sweat patches that look suspiciously like world maps. There is also a distinct aroma that makes the coworker next to you take very shallow breaths. Congratulations. Every time your shirt gets soaked, your body is quietly whispering that we are the ultimate survival machines. HR probably disagrees. And yes, I am talking to you, the person who just subconsciously reached down to check their pits. Yeah, we all hate it. Sweat is sticky, slimy, ruins expensive shirts, and turns fluffy hair into a fashion disaster 5 minutes after stepping outside in a 90-degree heat wave. It looks like a terribly stupid design flaw from Mother Nature. It seems like nothing more than a pointless, annoying biological waste product. But why would a mechanism that looks this crude and inconvenient survive millions of years of brutal evolution? It is not a system glitch. Seriously. What kind of superpower is this that forces us to live with it forever? Picture this. We are back on the scorching yellow savanna. Meet Og. He is a caveman wearing a simple leaf loincloth. He is shivering behind a dry bush, staring blankly at a massive lion baring its fangs and roaring smoke. Let us roll back the clock. We are drifting to the arid African savanna from 2 million years ago to meet our ancestors. Meet Og. He is a genuine primitive stickman. He represents the absolute failure of evolution at that exact moment. Og has no sharp fangs to tear enemies apart. He has no claws to grab prey. Worst of all, his sprinting speed is slower than any wild hound in the area. Standing all alone among a pack of muscular beasts craving fresh meat, Og looks so pathetic that even scavenging vultures shoot him pitying glances. They are probably wondering when this guy will finally drop dead so they can eat. Do not shake your head. You in a world without internet or air conditioning would look just as pathetic. In this violent and brutal natural world, the rule of survival is very simple. You are either strong enough to devour others, or you are weak enough to end up as dinner. Yet with such a frail and sickly physique, and no notable natural weapons besides a rotting wooden stick, our ancestors did not just survive spectacularly. They casually climbed to the very top of the food chain. They sat comfortably up there, looking down at the entire animal kingdom with the gaze of a ruler. Weird. How could a creature that looks as weak and helpless as Og pull off that miracle while the muscle-bound beasts out there slowly fell to the test of time? In that harsh natural world, you lack the terrifying speed of a cheetah. You lack the bone-crushing strength of a hyena. Your brain capacity is just enough to know which berries you can eat without foaming at the mouth. Then the only way to survive the dry season is to pray. Or, as our ancestors did, they invented a survival technique so bizarre that no other animal on Earth would ever think of it. It is an ultimate biological weapon hiding right under our skin. It works quietly, without needing a start button. But wait, before getting that weapon, our ancestors had to go through the most terrifying evolutionary disaster in the history of life on this planet. Period. Imagine walking outside and forgetting to wear clothes. Except all the hair on your body suddenly falls out overnight. That sounds like a terrible nightmare after eating too much junk food before bed. But that is exactly the day evolution decided to play a massive prank on our ancestors. In the normal natural world, fur is not just for looks or keeping warm on cold nights. It is a perfect suit of armor. It is a shield protecting the body from harsh sunlight beating down on the skin. It also blocks ultraviolet radiation from destroying cells inside. Yet suddenly, human ancestors chose to shed all their fur. They turned themselves into literal hairless chickens out in the wild. While every other beast proudly wears thick, warm, and majestic coats, our ancestors stood bare under the scorching African sun. They had smooth, pale skin that was extremely vulnerable. This has got to be the worst design flaw in planetary history. Any engineer looking at this blueprint would fire the person who made it instantly. Losing that protective layer turned the human body into a direct target for harsh sunbeams. Body temperature skyrocketed after just a few steps in the morning light, Internal organs started feeling a stifling heat, like sitting inside a bread oven.
Why would nature select such a silly biological disaster? Why strip away an animal's only armor and toss them into the harshest land? Do not laugh at the misfortune of our ancestors just yet. It turns out that behind this seemingly suicidal act was a very cunning move by Mother Nature. Shedding all that fur was not an accidental bug in the biological software. It was the first step to unlock a wildly overpowered hidden feature. Once unlocked, this feature would completely change the game of survival on this planet, seriously. And of course, the price to pay for having that feature is accepting that we must become soaked, slimy, and smelly creatures every time we work out hard. Period. With no thick fur left to pant or radiate heat through the tongue like dogs or cats, the human ancestor's body instantly faced the risk of being cooked medium rare under the blazing savanna sun. The human brain, an extremely expensive organ, very sensitive to temperature, started sounding bright red alarms. If the temperature exceeded the allowed limit by even a few degrees, nerve cells would be boiled and your life would officially close. In that make-or-break situation, evolution rolled out its most brilliant solution. It turned all human skin into a giant misting pipe network. The legendary water vapor cooling mechanism stepped onto the historical stage. Other animals in the jungle saw us sweating buckets and stupidly thought we were melting from pure terror of their majesty. That is not the case at all. Those fools had no clue what was happening. We were not trembling in fear. We were turning on the air conditioning system attached directly to our skin. Every time body temperature ticked up just a bit from moving or sunlight beating down, millions of sweat glands deep under the epidermis opened their valves together. Gallons of water pushed straight to the skin surface, carrying heat from deep inside the body out into the open air. When those sweat droplets evaporated into the dry atmosphere, they carried a huge amount of heat away from the body. It left behind a strangely pleasant cooling sensation. This is a simple physical mechanism, yet extremely sophisticated, that no carnivore on Earth possesses. While lions had to hang their tongues out panting, drool dripping, and were forced to rest under shady trees to cool off, our ancestors could calmly stride under the harsh, direct sun without flinching. We turned our skin into a highly efficient, mobile cooling vault. It let the body run persistently in the harshest conditions without risking overheating or breaking important brain blood vessels, period. Owning an air conditioner attached directly to your skin is not even the most interesting part of this story. What truly turned our ancestors into the scariest predators on the planet is how they used that sweat gift to pull off the weirdest hunting tactic in natural history: persistence hunting. The name sounds as peaceful as a weekend park stroll. But this is actually a brutal form of physical torture the world has ever witnessed. While other beasts can dash at 50 to 80 kilometers an hour in a flash, they suffer from a fatal flaw. They cannot sweat through their skin to cool their bodies efficiently, like humans do. Every time a human chases prey under the blazing savanna sun, the prey panics and sprints hard to save its life. But after just a short sprinting distance, its body temperature spikes to a dangerous level. Lacking a subsurface misting system, they are forced to stop and pant like maniacs to push heat out. That is the exact moment our ancestors wait for. Though running slower, Og the stickman never stops running. With his sweat cooling system working perfectly, Og just plods forward at an annoyingly steady pace. Like that, the cruel loop repeats endlessly. The prey dashes, then stops to pant from heat shock. Og casually catches up. The prey panics and runs again before collapsing once more. This is not a heroic sprint race or a fierce melee battle. This is a psychological and physical torture war lasting hours under the stifling heat. Our ancestors did not take down prey with muscle strength or sharp teeth. They took down the savanna's strongest beasts with extreme annoyance and chilling endurance. A lion might tear you apart in seconds, but our species will patiently chase you until that very lion drops from exhaustion and surrenders. Seriously. Period. Wait a second, this is the good part to stop and reflect on the irony of history. If sweat was so magical that it helped our ancestors rule a wild savanna, turning us into the most resilient predators on Earth,
Why do we hate it so much today?
Why do we treat a life-saving biological mechanism as a mortal enemy that must be utterly destroyed whenever we step outside? Shifting our gaze from the wild past to modern society, we quickly realize a harsh truth. Humans have turned an ultimate survival superpower into an unforgivable social taboo. We spend piles of cash every year on the strongest deodorants, antibacterial sprays, sweat absorption pads, and countless chemical products. The single goal is sealing every pore on our bodies shut. We sit inside cool, air-conditioned offices, wear sharp suits, and treat a single drop of sweat on the forehead like a national security disaster. Yes, I am talking to you, carefully checking your antiperspirant every single morning before walking out the door. We are so terrified of natural body odor that we are ready to fight the very perfect design millions of years of evolution worked hard to grant us. Today, if Og time-traveled from 2 million years ago straight to your modern gym and watched you spend piles of money on expensive antiperspirant sprays just to keep your armpits bone dry while lifting weights, he would definitely stare wide-eyed and blurt out bitter words. You fool. I ran my lungs out under the damn African sun for years just to grab that awesome feature for our bloodline. Why are you stupidly trying to block it? Seriously. We are using modern wealth and comfort to seal off the greatest cooling machine ever built on this planet. Weird. Period. It is time to close the curiosity loop we opened in the first minutes of this journey. What is the counterintuitive truth here? We modern humans are not weak against nature because our inner genes or biological structures changed or degraded one bit. Not at all. We are weak simply because we trapped the planet's ultimate and most enduring cooling machine inside sealed, air-conditioned rooms. Month after month, from winter to summer, we never give it a chance to run true to its wild nature. The true nature, hidden deep inside your ordinary skin, is not a vulnerable weakling. It is a super-enduring machine capable of conquering endless long distances through astonishing patience. Every drop of sweat pouring out on your body is not an annoying inconvenience to hide with expensive chemicals or crowd embarrassment. It is actually the prestigious medal evolution gave exclusively to our lineage. It is the clearest proof that you carry the blood of the most resilient predators to walk through millions of years of human history. Think about it. In a natural world full of muscle machines with destructive power, our species won. We did not win because we were faster, stronger, or bigger than anyone. We won because we knew how to cool down. We knew how to patiently walk step by steady step while others collapsed from overheating and exhaustion. That amazing cooling machine is still right there under your skin. It is ready to run whenever you decide to stand up and walk out into the sun. Never feel ashamed or annoyed by a bit of sweat on your body during a workout or moments of intense effort. That is the greatest legacy and the sole gift our primitive ancestors worked sweat and tears to pass down to us today. Seriously. Period. So the next time you feel your shirt starting to soak with sweat from muggy weather or after a hard gym session, do not get mad or try to hide it with pointless shyness. Never heave a deep sigh or curse the weather or your body for that minor inconvenience. That is definitely not a mistake from creation. It is not an annoying waste product to wipe out from modern civilized life either. It is the quiet yet powerful call of millions of years of evolution echoing back. It whispers to remind you that your veins still fully run with the proud blood of the planet's most resilient predators. These were the folks crossing vast, arid savannas to win the sole top spot on the life chain. Seriously, yes, that is you smiling and nodding along with what I just shared. Stand tall and proudly smile as you welcome every drop of sweat rolling down your forehead. Because after all, in this harsh survival race of the vast universe, every wild beast out there might have dizzying speed. They might have sharp fangs and muscle mass far scarier than you, but they completely lack the ultimate biological weapon you carry with you every single second. A lion can easily eat you if you carelessly stand in the wrong spot deep in the woods. But you totally have the ability to make it exhaust itself and collapse on the ground right in front of you using just patience and a unique cooling system. Have a great and sweaty time on the journey ahead. Period.